Welcome to the American Medical Extended Reality Member Question and Answer Series. In this series, we'll be highlighting the incredibly diverse and talented AMXRA community, one interview at a time. Join me, Dr. Mark Zhang, founder and president of AMXRA, as we learn more about medical extended reality through the perspective of AMXRA members. Welcome to the American Medical Extended Reality Member Question and Answer Series. It's my pleasure. I'm Dr. Mark Zhang. I'm your host, and it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Linda Ciavarelli to the series. Linda, it's great to see you.
Hey, Mark. Great to see you too.
Yes, yes, and now this is going to be we're well on our way. So now there's like a format, and I feel like there's actually there's process now, which is great. But we always tend to start with these kind of member Q&As by first just kind of getting an overview of who you are and what do you do. So what do you do, Linda, and who are you?
Well, first off, thank you so much for inviting me, Mark. I'm really just thrilled to be a part of the AMXRA, and it's really great to be here to be able to talk about what it is that I'm working on and some of the passions that I have.
Yeah.
About myself, I am a mid-career physician. I've been in private practice for almost 20 years. I'm a podiatrist. I'm still seeing patients, even though I am in the process of a fairly early stage startup called House Call VR. My journey with immersive tech is very new, especially compared to some of the other AMXRA immersive technology veterans. I'm coming at this from the clinical side,
Yeah.
having been a clinician for all this time and really seeing specific pain points. And in particular, one of the things that is most concerning to me is the lack of health literacy and the downstream effects of that. In my profession, it's all too common that I have patients that have chronic diseases, chronic illnesses that eventually end up in some pretty terrible outcomes that
Yeah.
can largely be prevented with a proper education early in the process. And so it's been really frustrating for me as a clinician to meet so many patients that don't understand the fundamental tenets of their illness and therefore really don't have a lot of agency around changing behaviors that could potentially affect outcomes. When I was first introduced to immersive tech,
Yeah.
I really, the first thought that went into my mind was, oh my gosh, what if I could use this to show my patients what I'm trying to tell them? All this time in clinical practice, so really just, sitting with the patient and trying to carve out some time to explain to them what's going on in their body. What if I could show them this? What if they
Yeah.
could be within it? And that got me started on my journey.
I think I read somewhere, but how did you get introduced to immersive kind of technology, VR and XR?
So it's a pretty timely introduction. My 13-year-old son
Yeah.
uh, got an Oculus headset for Christmas, and I was helping him set it up. He
Yeah.
was trying it for gaming, and I saw a trailer for a metaverse product that anyone can go on and work on, and that's when I thought, oh my gosh, why aren't I using this to show my not only my patients, but maybe I could show it to other people. Maybe we could expand past the podiatric landscape and into other chronic diseases.
Well, that's incredible, and actually a really, really nice, like almost, it's almost like we pre-planned this segue into the next question, which is, so you bring through to the lens, certainly the clinical kind of experience, the true clinical pain points and what you're seeing in
Hmm.
like real practice day to day, and then now you're taking on this relatively new role as a founder of a company, House Call VR. What are you doing with House Call, and what's that work? What's that work like, and how's it been?
It's been amazing. I mean, it's I say it's like trying to surf on a tidal wave, just being a part of the community and the incredible welcoming community. I've had the great honor to connect with so many founders and thought leaders throughout my time working on this. It's really, it feels like it's still a really relatively small community. So it's been it's that's been, an incredible journey. What we're doing in House Call VR is we're really focused on using immersive technology in the patient education space.
Mm,
So not in the direct therapeutic space and not in the training and simulation space, which
mm,
is, there's so much amazing work happening in there, and it's really, incredibly inspiring to see. But what we're working on specifically with House Call VR is creating an application that can be applied in a clinical setting that is better than a brochure.
mhm.
Many patients, most people have had the experience of leaving a doctor's office with, maybe a brochure and a lot of unanswered questions for many
Yeah.
reasons. And then a lot of people, unfortunately, are left to their own devices to navigate this. They go onto the internet, they call their friends, there's all sorts of resources out there, but people don't necessarily know how to use them. So we're looking to create specific solutions for that. So, for example, let's say you go to an orthopedist, you have a rotator cuff tear or injury, and
Yeah.
you can actually, your provider can prescribe for you the ability to actually go into this space and to learn about what's going on. Or let's say maybe you're diagnosed with a more complicated disease that might be difficult to understand.
Yeah.
When you're immersed within it, we believe that this educational approach really can make a difference. Hopefully, we'll be able to see some outcomes from that. Another piece that we're doing is we're actually doing quite a bit of outreach using the metaverse. We are on a public platform, like I said before, that anyone can go on and create. And we create virtual reality, open, public medical content,
That,
including the first public medical lectures in the metaverse.
that's on Horizon Worlds,
That
correct?
is. That
Yeah.
is, yeah. So this is, we see this like the next social media.
Yeah.
Basically, it's embodied social media. So it's not direct patient care. It's nothing along those lines. What it is, though, it is a way to democratize our reach. Now, recognizing that the system is not very democratized when you have a $400 headset, but looking
Yeah.
forward into where this technology is going, we see that this is a great way to bring quality, immersive, educational, medical content to people.
Yeah, that's super interesting. So, especially both areas, the mixture of kind of using extended reality tools to enhance kind of education for the patients, and I assume also for the families as well. Uh,
Absolutely.
while also on the other hand, really having outreach and a more public education. I mean, in many ways, I see them kind of resonating in similar angles, right? You have the individual N of one or N of, a small nucleus of education, but then you have like public education, public health, a
Yeah.
forum in the metaverse, which is incredibly exciting. I also feel, full disclosure, I feel like there has to be a disclosure. So House Call VR very, very graciously created the American Medical Extended Reality Association world in Horizon World. And so I can very much so, for folks that are interested, you can go to search Horizon Worlds and go to AMXRA. And we have open houses on Tuesdays from 7 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. So if you're interested in catching up in the metaverse, we're around there as well. I'm bringing this up because I have firsthand experience with kind of the quality and the output of the Horizon Worlds kind of work that you're doing, and it's incredible. It's really astounding to see. What's actually the most amazing part about it is the meaningful kind of connections and conversations I've already had within kind of AMXRA and other spaces within the house call VR kind of environments with a wide array of people. We've had moments where just a random person would just drop by and be like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm a paramedic in the real world, and I saw this and I said, oh, I better check it out." So it's an incredible lighthouse as well, which is another piece that I think adds so much value. So it's just fascinating. Where do you see kind of the blend, that like merger of these two kind of things come together?
Oh, I love that you asked that question. I mean, that's first of all, thank you so much for all of your kind words around our work. It's incredibly just humbling to be working with you and to have been able to create that space and also to sort of help show you how it works and
Yeah,
introduce you and really into the community. And I think that's just to take a quick detour away from the question that you asked. That's one of the most powerful things about this thing that is the
yeah,
metaverse.
yeah,
It's not only embodied and feels physical and persistent and all of these pieces, but it's interconnected.
yeah,
And those connections with actual people, although they're in avatar form, are meaningful and
yeah,
real. And to be able to have an experience, whether it be about medical content, medical education, or about something else, where you can actually experience this not only as a solitary experience but with your family and friends. So I guess I kind of got myself around to answering your
yeah,
question, which is we see these two tracks that we're working on. We see this educational application that will be a standalone application and
yep,
that will eventually be device agnostic, and our metaverse applications. We eventually see that as seamlessly bounding together,
mm,
where you could have an experience that's prescriptive from your healthcare provider that says, this is what your disease is, these are the things that you can do about it, this is where you can learn, and that's protected and cared for in all the ways that it should be.
yeah,
But that also could have a portal where you're able to go into a public space and interact with some of this content and other people in a public way, and that interconnection is seamless. So that's where we see that going. That's why we're working in these two different lanes, so that we see that this all, I mean, nobody knows where it's going to be, but
yeah.
I think many of us can see that there will be a convergence, that point of convergence in the near-ish future.
I think that makes a ton of sense, and it's almost as if like in some ways you have both kind of windows to education with the patient at the center, and then do you ultimately envision kind of a third kind of circle in this Venn diagram where house call VR, right? Like could you eventually, is that on the roadmap where eventually the platform that you ultimately build will have a way for kind of uh, uh, direct kind of clinical expertise to be able to answer questions via a virtual house call? Or is that, again, I'm very good at creeping the scope of many things. So, but I see that as like a really incredible kind of potential in the future as well. Is you have this incredible education both for the public and then for the individual, but then the follow on from that, from the convenience of either potentially someone's own home, right? There's something really powerful with that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's absolutely our vaunted goal to go there, right? To be able to provide direct care. We recognize though that's a ways off. I mean, certainly
Yeah,
there are definitely people who are working in that space, and it's just so incredibly inspiring.
yeah,
But where we see this as the most pressing, sort of addressing this most pressing piece, this
yeah.
this piece around health literacy. And as we build that ecosystem, as we build our library, as we build our partners, as we build this both in our application and then in our public interactions, then we'll be very well positioned to move into that space.
Very, very cool. Very cool. What are you like most excited about with MXR, the space of MXR, and also just kind of shameless plug, but AMXRA kind of moving forward? What's most exciting about this field to you?
Well, I'll answer a kind of the easier question first. That I know the thing that I'm most excited about the AMXRA
Yeah,
is I'm most excited about the opportunity to connect with other people who are really passionate in this space. And I know it's such a great forum, and I'm very excited. And in particular, what I know you've said that this is on your roadmap, and I would love to see a journal I
I
really
know.
have to say, I
It's
think to do that would be it just incredibly additive.
yeah.
And not to mention, I mean, all of the other work that's happening around nomenclature, around best processes. Really, there's so much work to be done, and I'm really just thrilled that you guys are working on
Well,
that.
I think it's good. I'm glad you say that because I totally agree. These are like the foundational pieces that are needed. I'm also frankly very excited that AMXRA has this potential to also create this pipeline too. So, as we think about more, just getting more members in general, being very thoughtful about making sure that the society has, seasoned attending physicians and researchers and people kind of in different stages of their career, end career, mid career, early, or even, I think very, very importantly, the trainees.
Yeah.
So as we kind of build this, that's all going to be so important. So yes, these are the pieces, these foundational pieces. And frankly, I think that the platform that House Call VR has helped us build has built in Worlds is just another place to kind of increase the awareness and gain more people that we normally wouldn't hit, which has been phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
well,
So that,
and I don't know if you know, Mark, but so the platform, I know you know that the platform is owned by Meta, and
yeah,
Meta has said in their very recently, as recent the last couple of days, has said that they are still working on and plan to roll out a desktop and mobile version of Horizon Worlds. So people will no longer currently today to access this content, you have to have an Oculus headset, but that will no longer be the case later on this year. And so that talking about interoperability, this moment, we're all imagining a future where everybody has a headset and we have whatever that will be, glasses or whatever, but
yeah,
to bridge that gap, to have a two-dimensional interface option is I think going to be a game changer, and being in that space and ready when it happens is a real advantage, not only not only just for what we're doing at House Call, but also for the AMXRA to be well positioned to educate the general public about what they're doing, about what we're doing.
way better than legs. Web and
Who
mobile.
needs legs? I'm a pediatrist. Who needs legs?
I mean, at least in the virtual, you can make a huge model of the lower extremity, and that's
We
what
have
we
that.
exactly. You do. That's right.
We do actually already have that. So
Oh, you're
go check
perfect.
out Podiatry World, and you can see all kinds of fun things.
Well, that's the other thing. So, part of kind of our the work kind of setting up the AMXRA kind of space was, you gave me a crash course on just like the intricacies and the kind of in and outs of building within Horizon Worlds. That is a skill, like seeing some of those kind of assets get created. It's like sculpting, but with like primary shapes. I know I'm like butchering, but just to watch people kind of do it, it is incredible. And I was actually listening to another kind of podcast on kind of the VR industry, and they were talking about like new kind of jobs that will happen as like these new kind of digital spaces emerge. And one of the use cases they were talking about was the rise of like kind of VR camera people to like shoot. And I remember like that's already happening. Like like we're seeing people do it, and it's just wild to see like these like new skills kind of get created because of this emerging space. It just goes back to the central thesis of kind of why AMXRA was started was, if you are bought in and convinced that extended reality is going to be a major force in just general life moving forward, a major technology, it's just a natural leap, not even that big of a leap to realize how fundamental it will be to the field of healthcare. And with that, and we're already seeing it just by talking with folks like you and others within AMXRA, we're seeing these like incredible things already happening. And it's not even in the first, it's like the beginning of the first inning. So that's like kind of super exciting, super exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I love that analogy, the beginning
Yeah.
of the first inning. It really that's what it feels like. And again, sort of going back to the amazing community where, really it's just such a great group of people working together and for to have a place like the AMXRA where we can connect with each other and continue to work on all the things that are the goals of and the benefit of having a society professional society like that, I think is really tremendous.
Well, Linda, it's been a real pleasure. I want to make sure we number one, uh, this will not be the only time we talk, and hopefully we'll be able to do is we'll be able to do one of these in the future. Hopefully in the metaverse, in Horizon Worlds, the AMXRA space. That would be great. We'll have a cameraman or a camera woman, camera person in the space do recording in real, in virtual life. It'll be a lot of fun. But before we end, I want to start formalizing, making sure people are able to reach out to you if or reach out to your company if they want to learn more. Uh, where can they connect? Obviously, within the AMXRA feeds, if you're a member, you can just find Linda and chat with her. But if maybe you're still thinking, how can they get a hold of you?
So, best places to get a hold of us are, of course, on our website. So that's housecallvr.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I think that's an incredibly useful tool. Another thing you can do is if you're in Horizon Worlds, you can come and check out all of the House Call Worlds. As a matter of fact, on February 24th, we're going to be debuting our brand new auditorium. And in that space, we're going to have a lecture. We're having a national diabetes expert, Dr. Michael Danzinger, who's going to be doing a talk partially from inside of the auditorium. This is a public talk.
Yeah,
And the majority of the talk, though, will be inside of the pancreas. So if you're interested to be within a pancreas with a diabetes and expert, then that there's your opportunity. February 24th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard in Horizon Worlds.
that's super exciting. And would they have to they'll search for to get it? You would look under events, or would you
You
search
would
for
look under events. Yep,
look
yep.
under events? And
Any questions finding it? You can also reach out to us, of course, on our socials, on Instagram, Facebook, you know, all the ones.
excellent. And I'm looking forward. We'll put an event list under AMXRA too. I had a preview of the pancreas. That is impressive. That is an impressive model. Very, very cool. You also have a very cool dental game too. That
Yeah.
we were able to play. That's also like, again, it just like blows my mind the things that people are making. Whereas like I was trying to make like a box, and I get like,
We'll work on it. We'll work on it. Happy to show you or anybody else. That's the cool thing about these platforms is that they're open source. Like anyone can go on and build it. Now, of course, we've created an ecosystem there where people know to go to House Call VR for health and health education content. So that's been, but it's been amazing and absolutely there to help you or anyone else learn how to build.
excellent, excellent. Um, well, Linda, it's truly been a pleasure. I know this won't be the last time we chat, but thanks for being such an incredible kind of model and support for everything we're doing within AMXRA, and frankly, just for your work, kind of moving the field forward. Right, like you're really a pioneer in both the metaverse work plus the education component. There's so much work happening in kind of therapeutics and interventions and simulation, as you said, but the patient education, I think, is like still pretty early, and you're really moving things forward, which is incredible. So thank you so much. Um, we will have more of these kind of episodes coming, and I look forward to speaking to you in the future.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, see ya.
This has been a production of the American Medical Extended Reality Association. Our mission is to advance the science and practice of medical extended reality through advancing care delivery, scientific investigation, innovation, education, advocacy, and community. If you are interested in learning more or joining AMXRA, please go to www.amxra.org to learn more. Bye now.